In this video, I'm going to show you how to display data in your database in a web page. Now we have a blank page to work on, so you're going to first create a data source. That data source will contain the data you want to display. The first thing, you're going to find your toolbox pane, which is usually by default there, but if you don't see it, you just always go to the view and down here find the toolbox, click on it. The toolbox pane will always show up here. And to create data source which is not belong to the standard control, so you shrink the standard control list, or scroll down, you will find the data control list. Under data control list, you will select access data source, because we're using access database. So just click on it and drag it to the page. The data source control is created. Now you will go to configure this data source to display whatever data you want to show in this web page. So click Configure Data Source. From this window, you will select the database. So you click on Browse. So here is the window pop-up. Click on App Data. The employee at MDB we just added will show up, and just click on OK. Then we selected the database. Then click on Next. This page you will do the work to specify the data that you are going to display in your web page. There are two ways to do it. The first way is to use plain SQL language. If you want to do that, or you are more comfortable with that, you can click on this and go Next. In this window, you will specify all your SQL statements that select out the data you want to display. But in this video, we're going to do the other way. We're going to use the help from the program to decide what data we are going to display. So for example, if we want to display information about the company's employee, so we go to Table Employee, and here are all the columns for us to select. If we want to display all the columns in the table, you can just click on this asterisk. It will by default display all the columns in this table. But if you think, well, I'd like only first name, last name, and their job title, then you can do that. Basically, that's the only thing you need to specify here. If you just want to display and not specifying any criteria on what you are going to display, then you can just go ahead, and if you are not very sure what you are going to see in your display, you can always click on Test Query. It will generate a preview of what this data source will display. So now you can click on Finish. The data source has been configured. So for some reason, or for all good reasons, you want to name the data source a name that you can recognize later. So you can always click on it, select the control, and go down here to the Properties window. If you cannot find this window yet, you can still go to the View to find the Properties window here. Anyway, so now we are in the Properties window. here, select the control. Here's the properties of this data source control. So you can see here the ID, you can change it to whatever you think is good. So I'm going to change it to access employee. That's it. You can see it changes to access employee. Now we have this data source available. The next thing is to how to display it. So we're going to use a control that will hold the data called grid view here under data controls. So it's still click on it, drag it, and here is the preview of the control. Now next thing, you're going to add this data source to this control, and if you don't like the plain look of the control, you can always go to auto format to select whatever format you like. So click on OK. Basically, we are done with our data source control configuration and the grid view configuration. So next thing, you're going to save it and you are going to debug it. Click on this little green arrow and just click on OK to continue. So here is the page we got. The table of employee, the whole table of the employee with the columns that we selected to display. Alright, that's it. Thank you.